I'm now speaking with Charles Hyatt, who is the chairman of the Patriots Point Development Committee, one of the men instrumental in getting this whole system here started with all the Savannah and the Yorktown. Can you tell us a little bit about how this started back in the early 70s? I believe it was with Governor West.
Yes, Carolyn, it really started over a cup of coffee, many cups of coffee for different people over the state. We were asked the question, well, if Alabama can have a ship, memorial ship in North Carolina, why can't South Carolina? And these ideas sort of gelled with a bill that was put through the legislature calling for a study committee to study the feasibility of a naval and maritime museum. And Governor West was asked to appoint a committee, and the committee was to be made up of appointees from our various congressmen in South Carolina, as well as our 2 senators, and the chairman of the committee was to be the appointee by the governor. And the Governor West asked me to chair this study committee.
Very good. And what are some of the things that came about through your study?
Well, really, when we first met, we decided, yes, we're going to have a naval museum, naval maritime museum, but the question was, where? Okay, we looked at this site here in Charleston. We looked at the cost of the land from the families who claimed ownership of the land. And also we looked up at Georgetown, that the Baruch Foundation offered us land there. But the families put a price on the land here, the first parcel, and we borrowed $3 million from the state of South Carolina to start the project here at what was Hog Island then.
How did you go about getting the ships to come over and make this their final resting place?
Well, the strong alumni group from the Yorktown Association we knew about. And when we started discussing what ships should we have, Admiral Costler, who was the first executive director of the Patriots Point Development Authority, Admiral Costler said the Yorktown would be the best ship to have because of its strong supporters, the Yorktown Association. Someday, Carolyn, obviously these are shrines for future generations. All right, someday maybe the Congress will say, okay, you've done a good job in showing these ships to the public. We're going to help you in the maintenance. That's our main problem, is maintenance. Now, as you look out over this island of 450 acres, you'll see a golf course. We had over 20,000 rounds of golf played last year. Okay, that's supposed to be a profit center for us. Okay, we hope to have, in the future, a convention hotel, a recreational vehicle park, and a marina. Okay, now these are all profit centers with the profits to help us in the maintenance of the ships. Okay, now, in a survey that we conducted last summer, the survey showed that we were the best family attraction in Charleston, which we're very proud of. We don't want to raise that gate price. Obviously, we've got to have the money to maintain the ships. We've got to have the support. Now, we have some certain foundation support, and hopefully that the various foundation money, charity money, will get interested in helping us in future years.
What are the visiting hours for the ship?
We're open from 9 till 6 at night, and we have a little different schedule in the wintertime, of course.
Very good. I want to thank you very much. I want to first of all ask you before we say goodbye if there's anything else that you would like to add.
Well, Carolyn, let me say for the benefit of the Yorktowners who will probably be looking at this film, I have never seen, and this has been a great education for me, to learn about this great alumni veterans group. They're simply fantastic.
Truly a brotherhood spirit. This really is a family. It's not just a group of people who come together once a year, but it truly is a great family.
Well, there's some individuals that stand out. One is Jim Bryan. Let me tell you, Jim Bryan in the early years, he came down and said, well, okay, we should have a theater. We said, Jim, we simply don't have the money. Well, he left the contract to have a theater. We said, Jim, who's going to pay for it? He said, don't you worry about that. All right, it was paid for by money that Jim collected. All right, he came down and it was very hot in the theater, and he said, we need an air conditioning unit. We said, Jim, we don't have any money. And Jim said, well, you should have a heat pump. And he led a contract for a 6-ton heat pump before he left Charleston. We said, Jim, where are we going to get the money? He said, don't you worry about that. Okay, this is the kind of personalities that we've found in this Yorktown Association group. They're tremendous supporters financially, and they're in love with their ship. And I have found that this Yorktown group, they'll always remain loyal to the support of this ship, which will what make this whole Patriots Point a success. Now, Sarah Olmsted, whom you interviewed tonight, she's been very active in the youth group, the sons and the daughters of the Yorktown Association. Hopefully in years to come, these kids, as they grow up, will come aboard this ship and they'll say, I'm proud that my father, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, my great-great-grandfather, because this ship's going to be here a long time, served his country aboard this ship. That's the future of Patriots Point. And in our enabling legislation, Caroline, it says that we will have a place of education and recreation with emphasis on patriotism. And that's what we're doing.
Well, Charles Hyatt, I want to thank you very much for all that you have done for the Yorktown people, for the Yorktown, and for all the other ships that are now stationed here at Patriots Point. You yourself are a great patriot to America, the beautiful, and we want to thank you very much for all you've done and for taking some time out with us tonight and talking about your views.
Well, it's been really a work of love. I work in a bank. I'm an officer in a bank, in First National Bank in South Carolina. Often I'm accused of working more for Patriots Point than I am the bank. But it's been a work of love, and for all those who have helped us, and there's so many people out there that have helped us, we're very grateful for what we have.
Well, thank you again very much for being with us tonight, and obviously by the celebration that has been carried on this weekend and will continue tomorrow with the dedication services. This truly is an act of love among yourself and the people who are here tonight.
Thank you, Carolyn. I might say we have had approximately 110 meetings of about 6 hours duration each meeting since we started. We meet on Saturdays, and our authority members take their time to be with us. It's really a volunteer group.
Well, thank you again very, very much, Mr. Hyatt, and have a nice evening.